The verb, have, with different auxiliaries. 1. Can. I can have. He can have. I cannot have equals I cannot have equals I can't have. He cannot have equals he cannot have equals he can't have. Can I have? Can you have? Can he have? Can they have? What can I have? What can you have? What can he have? What can they have? You can have a shower after me. Tell him that he can't have a rest now. We have a lot of work to do. Can we have a chat now? Why can't we have a break? All of us are very tired. 2. Could. I could have. He could have. I could not have equals I couldn't have. He could not have equals he couldn't have. Could I have? Could he have? What could I have? What could he have? I could have lunch before I went back to work. Past. I could have a chat with you now if I didn't have to finish this urgent job. Present conditional. He could have a nap after work and before his children arrived home from school. Past. Bob could have some remarks that he would like to share with us. Present conditional. They couldn't have enough time to get to the station, so I think they didn't catch the train. Past. He couldn't have an own flat in the town center if he hadn't saved money for over 10 years. Present conditional. Could you have any ideas where to find a mechanic when your car broke down? Past. Could they have some friends who could help them? Present conditional. Where could you have a holiday when you took your dog with you? Past. Where could you have a holiday now if you took your dog with you? Present conditional. 3. May. I may have. He may have. I may not have. He may not have. May I have? What may I have? May he have? What may he have? I may have a lesson tomorrow at 5, but if not, I can go and help you to move your home. He may not have an idea how to ask her to work with him, and that's why he hasn't asked you so far. May we have a talk now or shall I call you later? When may we have a day off this month? 4. Might. I might have. He might have. I might not have. He might not have. Might I have? What might I have? Might he have? What might he have? He might have a backache after cleaning all the house. She might not have a haircut. I heard her favorite hairdresser isn't working for 2 months this summer. Might they have a chance to put everything right? What time might they have a message from the office? Maybe we can arrive long before that and mend the broken machine. 5. Will. I will have equals I'll have. He will have equals he'll have. I will not have equals I won't have. He will not have equals he won't have. Will I have? Will you have? Will he have? What will you have? Equals what'll you have? What will he have? Equals what'll he have? We'll have a great weekend, I'm sure. My father won't have a drink with his previous boss who fired him last year. Will she have a ride or she's still afraid of horses? When will they have a concert in this town? 6. Would. I would have equals I'd have. He would have equals he'd have. I would not have equals I wouldn't have. He would not have equals he wouldn't have. Would you have? What would you have? Would he have? What would he have? He would have a sandwich if he knew how to prepare one. I wouldn't have an excuse if I were you. Would Sue have an opportunity to give an explanation for the events? Which of your nicknames would you have on your name tag? 7. Shall I? Shall I have? Shall I not have? Equals shan't I have? What shall I have? Shall I have a drink with your boss and talk to her about your promotion? When shall I have a game of chess with you? 8. Shall we? Shall we have? Shall we not have? Equals shan't we have? What shall we have? Shall we have a discussion about the tasks? When shall we have a meal together? 9. Should. I should have. He should have. You should have. I should not have equals I shouldn't have. He should not have equals he shouldn't have. You should not have equals you shouldn't have. Should I have? What should I have? Should he have? What should he have? I should have a good relationship with my in-laws, but they don't like anything I do. You shouldn't have a snack before lunch. Should we have a think about selling our house? I heard something you talked about. Why should Bob have an appointment for the doctor tomorrow? Does he have a serious health problem? 10. Ought to. I ought to have. He ought to have. I ought not to have equals I oughtn't to have. He ought to have equals he oughtn't to have. Ought you to have? What ought you to have? Ought he to have? What ought he to have? You ought to have a workout every other day. Your health would be better. You oughtn't to have an argument with your parents about your pocket money. Ought she to have a nap before working again? When ought we to have a meeting? 11. Used to. I used to have. He used to have. I did not use to have equals I didn't use to have. He did not use to have equals he didn't use to have. Did you use to have? What did you use to have? Did he use to have? What did he use to have? I used to have much more time before exam season. I didn't use to have a rest in the afternoons because I used to work then. Did you use to have plans for changing the arrangement of the furniture in your home? How many books did you use to have when you were younger? 12. Need to. I need to have. He needs to have. I do not need to have equals I don't need to have. He does not need to have equals he doesn't need to have. Do I need to have? What do I need to have? Does he need to have? What does he need to have? I need to have a snack because without it I couldn't work now. He needs to have skills to get this job. You don't need to have time to solve this riddle. She doesn't need to have success for earning a lot of money. Do I need to have a lot of time to get to the station in this rainy weather? Does he need to have a shave in the morning? I always have to wait for him to finish in the bathroom. Why do we need to have a workout together? I don't like to be in the gym with him. He has a terrible smell. How much coffee does he need to have to work all day long? 13. Must. I must have. He must have. Must not equals mustn't. I must not have equals I mustn't have. He must not have equals he mustn't have. Must I have? What must I have? Must he have? What must he have? I must have a chance to get a job at the office as a manager. Necessity. He must have a lot of money. He's got his salary today. Certainty. Likelihood. Must we have a discussion about this problem today? We haven't got all the details. Necessity. Where must I have a lecture? Sorry, I'm new here. Necessity. You mustn't have a swim here. The water is freezing cold. To forbid. Closing parenthesis. 14. Have to. I have to have. He has to have. I do not have to have equals I don't have to have. He does not have to have equals he doesn't have to have. Do I have to have? What do I have to have? Does he have to have? What does he have to have? I have to have a think now. I must solve this problem right now. He has to have a decision about the trip, because we have to plan our route. I don't have to have a lesson in this subject. I have all the qualifications I need. She doesn't have to have a haircut before the school leaving party. Do I have to have a shave every morning, even at weekends? Does he have to have a coffee after every meal? Why do I have to have a quarrel with you every time I come home a little bit later? Where does he have to have a rest after the race? 15. Be able to plus infinitive. I am able to have equals I'm able to have. I am not able to have equals I'm not able to have. He is able to have equals he's able to have. He is not able to have equals he isn't able to have. You are able to have equals you're able to have. You are not able to have equals you aren't able to have. Is he able to have? What is he able to have? Are you able to have? What are you able to have? I'm able to have a dream if I am able to sleep. He's able to have a nap even in a noisy factory. We're able to have a chat in a calm cafe. I'm not able to have a talk about this topic in the office before my colleagues. He isn't able to have a normal conversation because of his toothache. People aren't able to have fun after the funeral. Are you able to have lunch after your wife's accident? Is he able to have a game with his broken wrist? Where am I able to have a wash? When are you able to have a rest in this messy room? Where is he able to have a dance in this boring town? 16. Must have plus past participle, for certainty and likelihood. I must have had equals I must have had. He must have had equals he must have had. You must have had a dream, you just can't remember it. They must have had a decision but haven't told us yet. He must have had an argument at work, that's why he is so angry now. She must have had a long run, because she told me she was very tired. 17. Can't have plus past participle, for certainty and likelihood. I can't have had. He can't have had. Bob can't have had a holiday last week, because I saw him every day to leave for work. They can't have had any lessons in this topic because now they don't understand anything I tell them about it. 18. Could have plus past participle. I could have had equals I could have had. He could have had equals he could have had. I could not have had equals I couldn't have had. He could not have had equals he couldn't have had. Could he have had? What could he have had? I could have had a bath last night at home, but we haven't finished the bathroom renovation yet. I couldn't have had a swim in the pool even if you had wanted. There was no water in it. Could you have had a nap if you could go home in the break? Where could you have had a quiet walk in that crowded beach? 19. May have plus past participle. I may have had. He may have had. I may not have had. He may not have had. May he have had? What may he have had? They may have had a lecture. They can answer all the questions. He may not have had a good sleep last night. That's why he is very grumpy with everybody now. May Sue have had a meal before leaving for the party? She hasn't tried any of my special snacks. What time may they have had a meeting yesterday? What time should I record in the report? 20. Might have plus past participle. I might have had. He might have had. I might not have had. He might not have had. Might he have had? What might he have had? They might have had a chat face to face before the meeting. That's why they agreed in everything so quickly. They might not have had any money, but they pretended that they wanted to buy the flat. Might she have had a rude quarrel with the boss? I think that could be a good reason for firing her. When might he have had a meal during the drive? The car is very small and he had to concentrate on driving all the time without stopping because of the heavy traffic. 21. Would have plus past participle. I would have had equals I'd have had. He would have had equals he'd have had. I would not have had equals I wouldn't have had. He would not have had equals he wouldn't have had. Would you have had? What would you have had? Would he have had? What would he have had? I would have had some time for helping them if I hadn't had to deal with other things. He wouldn't have had a long holiday if he had known how much work he had to finish. Would you have had a day off if she had asked you? Why would we have had a talk with him if he hadn't wanted to listen to us? 22. Should have plus past participle. I should have had equals I should have had. He should have had equals he should have had. I should not have had equals I shouldn't have had. He should not have had equals he shouldn't have had. Should I have had? What should I have had? Should he have had? What should he have had? You should have had a think before getting into your car after the drinking party at the pub. He shouldn't have had a break when everybody was waiting for him to finish. Should I have had some lessons before taking the exam? Why should we have had a talk with him if he hadn't wanted to listen to us? 23. Ought to have plus past participle. I ought to have had. He ought to have had. I ought not to have had equals I oughtn't to have had. He ought to have had equals he oughtn't to have had. Ought he to have had? What ought he to have had? He ought to have had a shave before he had a meeting with the managing director. They oughtn't to have had a drill near the border. It might have meant an international conflict. Ought we to have had a look at the house before buying it? When ought he to have had a workout to have some chance for winning the race? 24. Didn't need to. I didn't need to have. He didn't need to have. Bob didn't need to have a try, so he didn't do anything. I didn't need to have a run at the workout, and I was very glad. I was very, very tired that day. I just stood and watched the others running. 25. Needn't have plus past participle. I needn't have had. He needn't have had. I needn't have had a double coffee. It was so cold in the street that I woke up completely. You needn't have had a haircut for the party. It won't be held because half of the group got ill. 26. Had to. I had to have. He had to have. I did not have to have equals I didn't have to have. He did not have to have equals he didn't have to have. Did you have to have? What did you have to have? Did he have to have? What did he have to have? I had to have a smell at every dish because they thought some of them had gone bad. I didn't have to have a rest after my first workday. I could have a workout in the afternoon and I felt great in the evening, too. Did you have to have an energy bar during the race? Which books did you have to have for the course? 27. Have been able to. I have been able to have equals I've been able to have. He has been able to have equals he's been able to have. I have not been able to have equals I haven't been able to have. He has not been able to have equals he hasn't been able to have. Have you been able to have? What have you been able to have? Has he been able to have? What has he been able to have? I have been able to have a workout 4 times a week for about 10 years. He has been able to have a party every weekend since the beginning of summer. I haven't been able to have a discussion with her about our financial problems since she started to earn money and she spent her salary for himself. He hasn't been able to have a holiday since he got a new boss. Have you been able to have a drink with your friends since you got married? Has he been able to have fun with his children since he got divorced? How long have you been able to have conversations with English people? Since when has he been able to have a holiday at the beach for weeks every summer?